Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, welcome to everyone on this 20th day of September. Well, looking out the window there today, it's once again nice and sunny here in Brisbane, and the temperature is a beautiful 23 degrees. The best part of the world and around the best time of the year, when it is not too hot, not too cold, just about right. Brisbane is lovely that way. Weather-wise, it is just amazing. Well, today we have got lots to go through. So first up, we'll go into the general news, look at what's making news right around Australia, look at the COVID cases, and of course the restrictions and the easing of the restrictions and the numbers as well. And after that, we will have a very special interview for a very special day, which is tomorrow. It is the Global Meditation Day on International Day of Peace, which is on 21st, which is tomorrow. But we will bring that interview today because you need to join that meditation thing, which will be from tomorrow. We'll also show you some glimpses of the program organized by DJJS. Only a glimpse because we've got enough footage to put together a show which might be coming down later in the week or maybe next week. We'll see how we go with that and what sort of demand there is for it. And also we would like to bring once again that program that was held on mother language and preserving cultures, and that program as well could be because we've got the footage, so it can be restreamed. And so what's going to happen is now moving forward, we're getting lots of calls, and a lot of people are talking about all these shows which we can bring on. So we will have this news segment. Of course, we have the Daily Indian News, which comes on from Tuesday through till Saturday. And that's with Ankita and brought to you by PIO TV in an exclusive arrangement with Australian Indian Radio. And of course, on Wednesdays, we have the real estate update, and on Thursday, we have the travel updates with Tanvi Goyal, and on once a month, we have the migration ka safar, or the journey of migration, and how and what's happening, and that all the updates are brought by Suman. So all of the programs and more programs are going to be added on, but as we know, there is a cost involved, and as the numbers are growing, number of viewers are growing as well. So we'd like to now invite people to become sponsors, to sponsor a function, one of the events, or if you want to have your ad played during these live segments that happen, all these opportunities are open. And I think Rajni has put together some very, very attractive deals. So please be in touch and explore the opportunities of either have the naming rights to a program, or having your ads inserted within the program as well. So whichever option you are happy with, we are able to provide. We have been negotiating with another company which will be coming on with a monthly show. We will make that announcement very, very soon. But that would be again a very, very interesting and very relevant segment to our community. So all these things are going to be happening. And so what we'd like to do is invite everyone and give you the opportunity to come on board, and have a look and see if there is anything that you'd like. And of course, we have, how can I forget, the Music Junction. I just saw Chandranazi, good morning, joining in. So, prompted that we have the Music Junction coming on. With the Music Junction, the next one with Parminder, which is he's an amazing singer, and, the ghazals and other things. It will be presented by Savi. And of course, then we'll be looking at the Navratri segment, and then we'll have the Diwali segment coming up as well. All those dates and everything we will update tomorrow, and today we'll probably do the flyer and the poster for Parminder's Music Junction, which will be on the 26th of September. As we know, close to the last week of the month, on the Sunday from 6 p.m. we have that Music Junction, which we will inform you all about. But this one is a beautiful one, something to look forward to. And we have the interfaith music coming up, where Sabi will be the compere as well. So we will record all of that and bring it back as the show. So that's what I'm trying to say is there's many shows and functions which will now come on our live segment, and this gives you an opportunity, and we'd like you to be part of that as well. You can sponsor the whole segment, or you can take ads in the segments if you so wish. So, whatever the case may be, Rajni, I said, has put together some deals. Be in touch, and she will like to get on with that. So it is, an opportunity now that we're giving for everyone to be involved with that. Well, right now, enough talking. Let's get on some of the news. Well, breaking news is we've all heard about Christian Porter. So with Christian Porter, what's going to happen is in a decision that is, I believe, the right decision under the current circumstances. He has resigned.
In relation to Minister Porter, over the course of the last few days, and in the discussions that we have had, the inability for him to be able to practically provide further information because of the nature of those arrangements. If he were able to do that, that would allow Minister Porter to conclusively rule out a perceived conflict. And as a result of him acknowledging that, he has this afternoon taken the appropriate course of action to uphold those standards by tendering his resignation as a minister this afternoon, and I have accepted his resignation. His actions have been about upholding the standards. Our discussions today were about upholding those standards. We each believe they're incredibly important. And it isn't just about actual conflicts, it is about, under the standards, for ministers to have an obligation to avoid any perception of conflicts of interest. And that is what ultimately has led the minister to make that decision this afternoon. I want to thank Minister Porter for his service in my government. I want to thank him for his service as the Minister for Industry, Science and Technology, most recently. I want to thank him for his role as Attorney General for several years, not only under my government but under my predecessor. I want to thank him for the role that he performed as Leader of Government Business in the House of Representatives also. Minister Porter will be returning to the backbench, where he will continue to serve as the member for Pearce. But I thank him for his service in our government to the people of Australia. Today I've taken the step of appointing Angus Taylor as the Acting Minister for Industry, Science and Technology. He will perform those responsibilities together with his responsibilities for Minister for Energy and Emissions Reduction. Both of these portfolios sit within his department, and I have no doubt that he will perform extremely admirably in taking on those responsibilities.
With people backing the industry there. I've heard from my staff it was difficult to get accommodation in Hervey Bay, so obviously it's a very popular tourist destination, and we're hearing that around the coast. So Queensland, let's get out and support Queenslanders, as we know how to do that. So I'll hand over to the Health Minister, then Minister Grace and Adrian will say a few words, and then we're happy to take a few quick questions.
Thank you, Premier. So, as reported, we have 2 new cases here in Queensland. One's overseas acquired and detected in hotel quarantine. The other one is domestic, acquired in New South Wales and in hotel quarantine. So, identified that they were positive on day 1 in hotel quarantine and flew in from New South Wales on the 17th of September on QF 516 to the Brisbane domestic airport. He was fully vaccinated, and so we don't have a lot of concern in relation to this one, because any flights coming in from New South Wales are deemed red flights anyway. So people getting off those flights are deemed to potentially be infectious and are generally going into hotel quarantine. So we're pretty confident that there's low risk in relation to that case. And of course the other one is overseas acquired in hotel quarantine. We do have one other case that isn't classed in our numbers or identified in our numbers today. This is a person who has tested positive in the Northern Territory, who has transited through Brisbane domestic airport. So they have flown from Newcastle to Brisbane on the 17th of September, spent about 4 hours at the domestic airport that day, and then travelled on to the Northern Territory and tested positive there. So we are just having a look. That person arrived on JQ 484 at 5:10 p.m. on the 17th. So we will potentially be putting up information about the length of time that that person was there and the gate that they left from. Again, the flight that they came in on was deemed a red flight anyway, but we're just wanting to make sure that that person, in the 4 hours that they were at the domestic airport, did not move around very far, and whether they went to any food courts or any other areas. So please, if you were at the Brisbane domestic airport on the 17th of September, just keep an eye on our website today to see if there is any exposure sites lifted. Now, as the Premier said, amazing results. Super weekend was just that. Everyone came out in huge numbers and got vaccinated. So 56,907 vaccinations over the weekend. This brought our total that Queensland Health administered in just 7 days to 178,808. This is over 32,500 more than a week ago. So well done to all of our health workers who came out and manned those vaccination hubs on the weekend, to all of our care army, to the SES, to the police who are all there helping manage lines. Thank you to the public for coming out in huge numbers and your patience, bringing water and hats and sunblocks. I even saw some brought their own chairs with them. So thank you, because of you, we are seeing a huge uptake in our vaccination numbers. But as
It's great news that there's a great uptake in the vaccination numbers, and as the minister there said that it's wonderful to see that our daily numbers yesterday was much higher than was before. So it is wonderful. That's a good news because that shows the responsible move of getting towards that number of vaccination, and soon we'll all be vaccinated. Well, except for those ones who don't want to be vaccinated, and as we have seen from those roids down south. Talking about down south, let's go to Victoria and join with the Premier, Daniel Andrews.
We cannot perennially suppress or permanently suppress this virus. Lockdowns have been about buying time to get to 70 and 80% vaccinated. We are fast approaching those milestones. At that point, we have got to open the place up, because remaining closed forever has its own cost in every sense of that word. So this is a very difficult balancing act. The reason I make these comments is that Burnett Institute have done an amazing job for us, worked with us very closely last year and this year, and the roadmap to deliver the national plan that I'm announcing today is well informed by the Burnett modelling. It is, however, modelling. It makes assumptions. It assumes things that will happen and won't happen over a period of time. I want to make it very clear to all Victorians, particularly to those who are working in our health system, that as we deliver this roadmap, we will monitor every hour of every day how many people are in hospital, how much pressure is there on our health system. Are we balancing that? Are we able to continue to provide the best care to everyone who needs it? There is going to be some very difficult days and weeks, perhaps longer, in our health system. I have nothing but respect and absolute admiration for those who work in our health system. We will stand with you, we will support you, and we will monitor very closely what the impact of this inevitable opening up, this absolutely essential opening up, we will monitor that impact on you, on your patients, on our health system. That will be a very difficult balance to strike. I thank the Burnett, but it's sobering, and I think it's important. We've released to you and through you to the Victorian community the complete Burnett modelling today. No redactions, no omissions. You have every page, every word. It does make for sobering reading. It indicates, and again I stress, it is assumed. These are assumptions, and I'll come to how we'll get a more accurate picture in just one moment. It assumes, and it models out and it projects, that on or about the 15th of December, cases will peak at about 4,500. Toward the end of December, admissions to hospital will peak at about 3,150. And in January, deaths due to COVID-19 and the Delta variant will peak at around 2,200. These are sobering numbers. The notion of opening this place up really quickly at 70% or 60% or today, that simply cannot be done. We can deliver the national plan. I've just come off the phone with the Prime Minister and assured him that we are doing exactly that. It'll be done in a staggered and measured and proportionate, a cautious way. But we are opening up, be in no doubt about that. And there will be no turning back. We have got to normalise this. We have got to pass through and pass beyond this pandemic. Vaccination is critically important. 80% is critically important, but we won't stop at 80%. We will continue to urge people and indeed to require some people to get vaccinated, to drive that number as high as we can possibly drive it. Every person that's vaccinated is one less person who will finish up gravely ill in hospital. It's one less patient that nurses have to do double shifts to treat and care for. Everyone out there can play a part in coming forward and booking an appointment and becoming part.
And as the Premier there said, that everyone can play a part. So do play your part. Go and get vaccinated. We know that Queensland's done well from the first report. Well, right now, let's go to New South Wales.
Good morning, everybody. Very pleasingly, New South Wales has hit 81.9% of first doses, and I couldn't be happier with that rate. We would love to get that as close to 90% as possible, but we know that once we hit 70% double dose and 80% double dose, life will be so much better than what we're all experiencing now. On that second dose, we have
Wide Bay coming out and getting vaccinated on the Super Pfizer weekend.
And premier walk-ins were permitted across the state at vaccination hubs. Was that successful, and can we expect to see that?
It was so successful. We're going to have some meetings, but I'm pretty confident we are going to look at having them in the future as well. I think a lot of people were a bit disappointed that they couldn't get there. They may have had travel for school holidays, or they may have had work commitments. So we are looking at when we can hold the next Super Pfizer weekend.
Why wasn't there enough enough doses for walk-ins at Logan and Capalaba, where people had to be turned away on Saturday?
Yeah, we addressed that yesterday, and it was just unprecedented demand. Like, no one could have foreseen the amount of people who were turning up there, but it was my understanding was it was rectified for Sunday.
What is Christmas likely to look like for those who are vaccinated and those who are unvaccinated? And will home quarantine be an option by that time?
Yeah, well, in Queensland, let me say this. We enjoy our Queensland lifestyle. My cabinet is able to come to the regions because Queenslanders have done such a great job. But we know that that virus can come at any time, which is why we need those vaccination rates up as high as possible. So we want to see the vaccination rates at 80% and higher. So I'm urging Queenslanders to come and get vaccinated. In New South Wales and Victoria, families are in lockdown. They are trying to get their freedoms back. That is why they are vaccinating to get their freedoms. In Queensland, I need families to get vaccinated to protect our freedoms, to protect our lifestyle. So, you know, if we want to be able to continue to travel across Queensland and meet 100 people in our homes and everything, we need Queenslanders to get vaccinated to protect what we have and we hold so dear.
Premier, Queensland's faring the worst in terms of vaccination rates. Do you think these super vax weekends are the key to putting us ahead of other states?
I think they're working really well because on weekends we know that people are busy during the week, and on weekends they can go and drop into their local centre to get vaccinated. But we also know Moderna's coming, so people have the opportunity to go to their local pharmacies. There's more GPs coming online. They'll be able to go to their GPs and get vaccinated closer to home. But I think it's, the Super Pfizer weekend showed us that Queenslanders were willing to come out in droves. We've also had pop-up clinics at some of our sporting events on the weekend, which helped as well. And just in relation, let me just address your issue about vaccination rates. New South Wales is going through a big outbreak. They were given more supply. Victoria has an outbreak. They were given more supply. We get the supply, we'll get it out into people's arms.
In New South Wales and Victoria have released their roadmaps out of COVID. Obviously their situation is very different to ours here.
Completely different to ours.
For us, particularly when we reach that 70 to 80% double dose.
Well, at the moment we're seeking to get those higher rates of vaccination to protect our lifestyle. So you're talking, if you look at their roadmaps are actually less than what we are enjoying in Queensland at the moment. So if you get vaccinated and we get high rates of vaccination in Queensland, We won't have to go backwards. So we want to go forwards.
When can Queensland expect a plan about when the borders will open?
Well, that depends nationally on when the whole of the country reaches a particular threshold, and the Doherty Institute is working on those issues for National Cabinet at the moment. My understanding is that National Cabinet will meet in a fortnight's time. Okay?
A quick question as well about the water. Could you explain the terms of reference?
I might get the Health Minister to address that one. Is that all right? Thanks.
So the terms of reference have been set by the chair of the Metro North Hospital and Health Board. They've engaged an independent specialist from interstate to do this review. This is the proper course, I would expect, as our hospital and health services are all independent statutory bodies, to take this course of action. I've made it very clear, and the chair has put this in the terms of reference, that people can come forward with any concerns or complaints or issues that have arisen at the hospital, and they will be considered as part of this review. We have encouraged people.
That review is once again wonderful news, and thanks the Health Minister for that. Well, sorry we had to cut New South Wales Premier off because our Premier came in live there as well. So here's that report once again from New South Wales.
Good morning, everybody. Very pleasingly, New South Wales has hit 81.9% of first doses, and I couldn't be happier with that rate. We would love to get that as close to 90% as possible, but we know that once we hit 70% double dose and 80% double dose, life will be so much better than what we're all experiencing now. On that second dose, we have reached the 51.9% figure, and as soon as we get to 70% double dose, we'll be able to do all those things that are set out in the roadmap, which we announced some weeks ago, and all of us, I think, are really counting down the days and looking forward to that. So the quicker those of us who haven't had the second jab get the second jab, the quicker we'll hit that 70%, and the quicker we'll be able to enjoy all those freedoms. Very pleasingly, as far as 12 to 15-year-olds are concerned, 17% of that group, so 12 to 15-year-olds, have already received their first dose. Now, there's around 390,000 children in that age group, so 17% in a relatively short amount of time is an outstanding number, and so we encourage parents to support again children in that age bracket for getting vaccinated. As a result of these positive signs, the New South Wales Government is pleased to announce that from next Monday, the 27th of September, all public pools will be open in a very COVID-safe way, and those COVID-safe plans will be formalised and made public, making sure that we keep communities safe as much as possible and prevent seeding. But I think all of us appreciate the importance of enjoying the warmer weather and the positive mental health and recreation and exercise. And so from next Monday, the 27th, I should say all pools across New South Wales, not just in Greater Sydney, but across New South Wales, will be able to have COVID safety plans and open. Also, pleasingly, in the areas of concern, all the rules will be the same for the rest of Sydney, except for authorised workers and permits. So from tomorrow, very pleasingly, all areas of concern will be equalised, so relating to exercise, recreation or outdoor gatherings of 5 and the like. Everything will be the same across Greater Sydney except for the list of authorised workers and the associated permits. As you know, we still have relatively high case numbers in those areas, but this is a wonderful step forward in equalising all of Greater Sydney in relation to COVID rules.
So that is once again wonderful news and easing of the restrictions, and they have reached 52% of the second dose, and looking for that magic number of 70% double dose, to go follow the roadmap that was laid down and the one that we discussed about last week, and to get there, 70% is needed, about 52% is already there, and some of the restrictions are easing from tomorrow, and major restrictions easing from 27th, as he said. Right now, here's a glimpse of what you could be having on these programs if you wish to be part as a sponsor in the event.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, Trusted and respected agency in its trade area, Washa Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
And real estate is their world. And don't forget that on every Wednesday we have the real estate update with Usha Chandra right here on this channel. So that's an example of how your ad, in the segment could look like. You could have them produce yourself, or we are happy to produce that for you in-house here as well. All those packages can be worked out. In moving forward, we'd like to promote this section as much as we can, so that if you are thinking, please do contact Rajni on 0430193715. That number is in the comment section as well. It would be, if you are thinking, this is a wonderful medium, this is the way things are going at this point in time, so we'd like to give you an opportunity to be part of that. Well, right now it's time to go for the interview for today. And the interview for today is, of course, on how we can come together and find joy on International Day of Peace. So the effects of the lockdown are going to be felt across Australia, with the Lifeline recording its highest number of daily calls ever in August this year. So Lifeline, as you know, there are people who always call that, and the largest number of daily calls was recorded in August. Over 1 billion people around the world are currently suffering from a mental condition, most of them with either anxiety or depression. Australians are being encouraged to join a 24-hour chain of meditation around the world by joining a global meditation on International Day of Peace this Tuesday, the 21st of September. And that is why we are going to talk to Elizabeth Delaney today, because you'll need to join this tomorrow. And it is a wonderful movement, that worldwide meditation. We've seen International Day of Yoga. Now we are seeing this. So it is all wonderful news, and it is so good to see that things of this nature are now being taken very seriously, and it's being embraced by the wider community as well. So today, let's welcome into the studio Elizabeth Denley, PhD, Meditation and Life Skills Trainer. So a little bit about Elizabeth. So Elizabeth is originally from Australia and is the founding editor of Fullness magazine. She loves meditating, writing, singing, playing the piano, gardening, thinking, that's a rare thing, and spending time with her 2 grown-up children and life in general. She is an active in researching and publishing the writings of heartfulness masters of the 20th and 21st centuries. She considers every moment of every day to be present, and ain't that the truth? That is a wonderful thing. Elizabeth has been involved in the peace education and life skills training for 30 years and has developed programs for schools, colleges, corporates and communities in Australia, Fiji, Europe, Middle East, Southeast Asia, China, India and North America. She is a trained facilitator, a certified heartfulness meditation trainer, and the editor-in-chief of the Heartfulness magazine. In the last year, she delivered online programs and courses to the University of Melbourne, Baker Institute of Melbourne, Amazon USA, Visa USA, MIT World Peace University, and MIT Business School, amongst others. There were many other ones that she did, and recently was presented an International Yoga Day program in partnership with UNIA. Of course, we know about that, and that is a wonderful program as well. Australian Mental Health Foundation and International Yoga Teachers Association. So, it gives me great pleasure because we could not get her on through video link, but she is coming together by an audio link via phone. So, welcome to the studio once again, Elizabeth. So, I've got some few questions that might be of interest to all our listeners as well. So, first of all, we'd like to know, that what inspired the Heartfulness Institute to create Peaceful Planet Meditation. As we know, it is, you're taking it on to a global level. So, what was the inspiration behind this?
The organisation was founded in 1945, the same year as the UN, and then in 1957 the founder wrote to the UN Secretary General proposing this particular meditation that we do at 9 p.m. that we're going to be doing on 21st of September. We started partnering with UNDPI in 2005, and since then we've been doing events around the world locally for Peace Day. But because of COVID, we went online. And last year there were about 30 million people who joined, and we're hoping there are more this year.
And isn't that wonderful that, taking to the forum and the medium that is available today, which is online things that are happening, and that you've thought of that. So, in a time like this, why is it so important for us to come together and show compassion towards each other, more so in times like this?
It's really important for us to come together and show compassion because we're struggling with a lot of uncertainties right now. Not only do we deal with wars and conflicts, but as well as that, we've got a lot of uncertainty due to COVID, due to climate change, due to social polarization, and people don't know what's happening. So we need, first of all, to have self-compassion, and then from self-compassion comes compassion towards others, and the possibility that we'll all get through this together. And so coming together to meditate brings an amazing sense of hope and inspiration for people.
And isn't that the truth? It is very, very important, more so in times like this. I mean, look, it is important at all times, but right now it is even more important. Well, moving on, how can we find moments of peace in our everyday lives, especially during lockdown? People have so much happening, even though it's lockdown, people at home, but time is such a thing that if it's given to people, it will just get consumed. It will get consumed with something. And whenever people say, oh, all right, I had lots of time now. If you say, all right, you take a bit of time off, it will get consumed with something. So my belief in life is that you always need to do and keep doing something meaningful and purposeful. So even though it's in lockdown, people have lots of time, the time gets consumed. So how can people find those moments of peace in everyday lives? And as we mentioned, that especially during this time of lockdown.
Well, if we want to find moments of peace in everyday life, we have to create the space for it. Yes. Life's busy, and in lockdown, of course, there aren't too many boundaries because you're not going from work to home. Everything's in the same space. It's easy to get overwhelmed and swamped and not give time to yourself. But creating that habit is so, so important. I've been meditating now for over 30 years, and I do it regularly every day as a habit. Everybody I interact with is affected by that because what I radiate is that peaceful, centered sense of happiness, and I think that's important.
And it is very, very important, and quite rightfully said that if you want that time, you've got to make that time. And if you are looking for peace, you've got to find that peace. As we know, happiness comes from within. No one can make anyone happy because it is something that comes from within. As we know, this is a subject which is very close to my heart as well. That's why, something that I really love talking about. Well, right now, there are people who are struggling as well. So what advice do we have for Australians who are struggling with mental health?
If you're struggling with your mental health, don't do it alone. That's the most important thing. There's help out there. If you're just dealing with lockdown loneliness or anxiety or depression and it's not too severe, then by all means try these practices. We have a Heart in Tune app where you can go and learn very, very simple guided practices. And We also have trainers who can connect with you one-on-one, either remotely, via WhatsApp, via Zoom. Of course, if you're really struggling with severe mental health issues, you need to go and get medical help.
And it is very important to get that help and seek that help, reach out, because, a lot of help is available. So, if you have some concerns about yourself or someone you know, because you can notice others while, they many times don't notice that they might be under depression or they might have mental health issues. If you see that, as we went through that Are You OK Day as well. So there are so many wonderful organizations who are doing so much out there. Help is available. You don't have to do it alone, as you've just rightfully mentioned there. And if you have any symptoms, any problems, reach out. Okay, so if people are trying to reach out, and of course, if people want to find out more about this global meditation, which is from tomorrow, the 21st, where can Australians go to find out more about the guided meditation?
The Global Guided Meditation is going to be on 21st of September, next Tuesday, and it'll start with an 8:30 p.m. video with peace messengers from around the world, including Kamlesh Patel from Heartfulness Institute, Jeremy Gilly from Peace One Day, many actors, writers, film directors, all sharing their message of peace and the way they find peace in their lives. And then at 9 o'clock, we'll all sit together with a guided meditation for world peace. So you can register for that at www.heartfulness.org/peace day.
So once again, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing that information with us, because, it is very important, and I feel that this is such a wonderful cause, and it is such great thing to see that things like this are happening. And of course, in times like this, when things are needed on a global scale, that the meditation is organized on a global scale, virtually as well, and people can join in. So once again, Elizabeth, thank you so much for being on the show. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the interview there with Elizabeth Denley. And of course, it is a wonderful initiative, and you should join in tomorrow. As I mentioned before, Elizabeth holds a PhD and is a meditation and life skills trainer, and doing an amazing job out there, I must say. Well, right now it's time to look at some of the functions and events taking place. As we know, things have eased a bit, so lots of functions and events are taking place once again. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for being with us. It's been wonderful having your company as usual. So good to see you. And don't forget that you too can be part of the show. If you have any topics that you'd like to discuss, any events that are taking place, anything in general that you need to discuss, we can easily get you on the show. As you saw in today's one, if video link is not available, because of restrictions on internet and other things, we can get you via audio link as well through your phone as well. Or if by the video link, or if you are able to, the best way would be to come into the studio. That is welcomed as well. But the other way you can get involved for the business people or anyone who's like to be part of the show is get a naming right, meaning that a segment could be sponsored by you, your organization, or you could get a spot, an ad on the segment there as well. So the ads can be either produced in-house or if you so wish, and if you have produced material already, we are happy to take that on as well. And of course, all the formats and other things can be discussed as well. So, it is a wonderful opportunity for everyone to get involved, and as this segment is only going to grow, and as the viewers are growing, and there's other things that we have planned to reaching out to more and more people. And also based on your feedback, and it is wonderful feedback that we get from people, and it is wonderful to see. And I'd like to thank each and everyone for joining in, for sharing our link forward, and of course for all the group admins for allowing us to share our post on your groups, because it is of community interest. It is of community interest. There's many things that are happening. It's current affairs, as you've seen from this last interview. If it wasn't for that interview, many of you would probably have never heard of this Global Meditation Day or the International Day of Peace. So, there are many things like that which are of community interest and which could be beneficial to many people who see that. As we know from the migration Kasafar, there are many points which could be beneficial to the students, the travel updates, and of course we know that for us, investing in real estate has always been in our blood. Regardless of which country or wherever we live or whatever, we've always held that value quite high. So we bring to you all things real estate on Wednesdays with Usha Chandra, Principal of GlobeNet Realty. So until tomorrow, it's goodbye from me. It's been wonderful having your company, as I mentioned before. Hope to see you back on the show tomorrow. So tomorrow, there'll be two segments. Remember, from tomorrow, Ankita joins us with the Daily India Report, which will be at 9 a.m. and the regular news segment at 10 a.m. Until then, it's goodbye from me. Remain safe and look after yourself.